all of the text that we need for breaking news has been entered, and we are just going to focus on splitting this into news columns. And it does not take a lot of CSS to do that. In fact, very little CSS is required. We're going to go ahead and create an internal style sheet. We'll do that up at the top above the closing head. And we're going to do a little styling for the main section, article, body, and the headings. And let me save this first. I'm going to show you what it looks like now. So we're going to make it look a whole lot better. So this is what it looks like now. And for main, and remember, everything that we have is inside the opening and closing main. For main, this is where we're going to specify our news columns. So we're first going to give it a column count, and we want 2 columns. And then we're going to tell it how much space we want between the columns, and we're going to use the column gap property for that, and we're going to put 20 pixels. And if you want a line between the columns, you have to specify a column rule property. Now, you don't have to have the line, but I think the separator line looks nice, especially in a web page. So I'm going to do column rule. And you set up the column rule kind of the same way you do borders. You have to give it a size. You have to give it a style. And you have to give it a color. So very similar to, almost identical to how we did borders. And let's save. And we will reload. You can see we have 2 columns and we have a little line in between. Now we are going to specify a little padding so that our text isn't right up against the edge. And we are going to do that using the article tag. So let's say article, and we're going to do 3%. So padding, 3% is going to put padding all the way around, 3% of the size of the screen. So I'm going to save it, and we're going to reload. And immediately you should notice that we've got more space, and percentages are responsive. So no matter how big or small this is, we are going to have padding that is 3% of the size. For the body, we are going to change the font. So we've got font family. And we want to pick the one with Lucida Sands. And that's all we're changing in the body. And then the heading, the H1. Going to do a little different font family for that. We're going to pick Franklin Gothic. Here it is. And we will semicolon that at the end. And then we're going to make the size bigger. And for the heading right now, the heading is over in column 1, but we would like it to span both columns. So we are going to use the column span property, and we're going to set it to a value of all. And then let's center align that heading too. And let's save. Now we will refresh. Oop, let me maximize this. And let's make sure we did not mess up. Okay, our code looks fine. And this is how it's displaying in Firefox. Let us take a look at Chrome. And this is why you have to test in different browsers. Not all browsers recognize all of the newer CSS commands. And if I check Edge, let me copy this. And we'll throw Edge over here. Let me paste my address. Come on. Oh, I tell you, Edge has got so much stuff going on. Try that again. And it did work in Edge. Okay, so Firefox is the problem child this time. But as long as your code is right, you're going to save your changes and everything is good to go.